Hello, everybody. Today, in our lecture, we're going to talk about figures of speech. When we say figures of speech in Arabic, the most important or the closest synonym or translation for figure of speech is صيغة البلاغية. And when we talk about figures of speech, we're mainly talking about figurative language or اللغة البلاغية. Okay. Mainly when we talk about figures of speech or figurative language, we essentially are using or saying or writing words, phrases that are indicating that the direct or the literal meaning indicates something, okay, in order to beautify or empower or boost a hidden meaning in the text. Like, in other words, when using the figurative language in a text, the place or the phrase or the word that employs the figurative language is mainly exceeding the immediate or the literal meaning that is indicated by the phrase or the word. A figurative language usually might take the form of repetition, تكرار, or the form of rearrangement or arrangement or omission or addition. Such forms that are used in a figurative language are mainly used or employed in order to exceed the literal meaning. So the most important thing in the figurative language is exceeding the literal meaning أو تخطي المعنى المباشر الذي يتم إيحاؤه أو كتابته عن طريق الكلمات أو الجمل الموجودة. And how does that happen? Or how can employing or using the figurative language exceed the literal meaning? We have different types of figures of speech. We are going to cover some of them, the most important and the most commonly used figures of speech. For example, when we say you are as a lion or you are a lion, or he, for example, he fought as a lion. Okay. The literal meaning that we have a man or a human that who fought a battle, okay, and the manner he fought that battle is as a lion. The literal meaning might not give you the immediate meaning that is indicated in such a phrase or in a sentence might not indicate or give you something important or that value. But the value lies where? The value is in the lion, okay? Where we are simplifying a human or a human's action, of fighting a battle as a lion. Why did we do that? Why did we simplify, okay, a human action of fighting a battle and make it is as a lion? A human is as a lion. The hidden meaning or the embedded or the deeper meaning that is indicated by this sentence is mainly trying to indicate bravery of the man who was fighting the battle. Instead of saying immediately that he was so brave or he fought bravely in a battle, okay, employing a figurative language like assimilating a human action as an animal action in the form of bravery with the hidden context that we have in mind in our background about the lion as the king of the forest, for example, beautifies and strengthens the meaning. Again, instead of saying that somebody was so brave, was so strong in fighting the battle, and keep describing his bravery, it is more beautiful and more straightforward in the context that saying that he fought as a lion. So this example immediately explains how figurative language is mainly exceeding, this is the most important thing, exceeding the immediate and the literal meaning that is indicated by a phrase or the word. The immediate meaning might seem like we are degrading a human into a human into an animal, but the fact is that we are praising the human's action. The fact or the hidden meaning or the deeper meaning, okay, in this simile في هذا التشبيه, okay, he is fighting as a lion. He is fighting as a lion. In fact, we're not degrading, but we are praising Yamda. We are praising such an action. The first example here we have, oh sorry, the first type of the figures of speech is imagery. And when we talk about imagery, it is simply defined as the writer or speaker using the figurative language or using words in the form of figurative language in order to create, and here's the most important thing, a vivid or a mental picture or image. Okay, it's the most important thing in an imagery is creating a vivid or a mental or an imagined or a picture that is seen by the eyes of mind. Okay, it is mental, it is not concrete, it is something abstract. Okay. Another important point in the imagery that an image or the image is supposed to to boost, provoke, promote, or provoke some senses, some human senses like sight, taste, smell, and hearing in order to be seen or felt by the abstracted or in order to be abstracted in the human in the humans in the human in humans mind. Now I want you to look at the first example, this example here. The hot July sun cast an orange glare over the ocean waves. Over the ocean waves. Again, the hot July sun cast an orange glare over the ocean wave. Now, I want you to think about the senses such a statement or such an image provoked while reading this statement. The hot. The first thing is hot. Okay, which means something hot, not cold. You can feel the heat of the sun. The hot July sun casted an orange glare. Casted an orange glare. And what we mean by the orange glare, الوهج البرتقالي. Okay, so here's we have hot, which evoke the sense of feeling. Orange glare evoke the sense of sight. Okay, orange, which is a color, and glare is something like light. The وهج البرتقالي, or the orange glare over the oceans, over the ocean waves, over the ocean waves. And here, the ocean waves evokes two senses, which are sight, نظر, or hearing. Okay, as you can hear sometimes the sounds of the waves. So instead of saying instead of saying that, just directly saying the sun set or the sun dropped into the ocean, or the sun sets into the ocean, for example. He indicated, or he said the same information, but in a more beautiful way that indicates additional meanings, additional hidden meanings that evokes some additional senses. Okay, for example, in this example, we have uh, the sense of feeling, the sense of sight, and the sense of hearing that are provoked or evoked by this image. And here's an example for this image. Okay, when you look at this image, for example, sorry, you can see the oceans here, and you can see the waves, and you can see the the orange glare. Okay, this is something like identical with the image that is created in your mind. Okay, now let's have another example. Let's have this example. The cool waves crashed over my feet as we walked along the gritty sand. Now, have a look at this image or have this statement and think about the senses that are provoked by such an image. First of all, we have cool waves. This is number one. Crashed over my feet. Number two. As we walked along the gritty sands. Instead of saying that I was walking on the beach, okay, the writer is fortifying, strengthening his statement by adding an image, okay, using figurative language in order to create a mental image for the scene he is saying, which is more would be more appealing to your mind, which would be more sensible or something that is imagined in your mind. Saying that I was walking on the beach or the cool waves crashed over my feet as for example this stop here the cool waves crashed into my feet as we walked along the gritty sand. This like walking like I walked on the beach and the example we have and the example we have here are indicating the same action walking on the beach, but using employing such words that might provoke an image would provoke a mental image to fortify, to strengthen and boost the meaning that is intended by the writer. Now I want you to have a look at those three statements or those three sentences here and think about them, and we're going to discuss them during our Zoom meeting. What, which of the following is another example of an imagery? And when you answer that, please keep in your mind that whenever you're going to say this is an imagery or this is not an imagery, okay, please indicate or support your answer with an example. Like, for example, we're going to say that the first one, the second one, or the third one is an imagery. What is what are the senses that are provoked by such an image? For example, this discussion might support your answer. The second thing in figures of speech we have is simile or tashbih. Simile or tashbih. And when we talk about simile, we are simply comparing two unlike things using as or like. For example, she ran like the wind. She ran like the wind. Now, I want you to think about this. This sentence compares two things. What are they? A female or a lady, she, and she. The sentence of the writer here is comparing the lady with the wind using like or as. Here he's using like. Mainly, instead of saying that she ran quickly, the writer here is saying something different. She ran like the wind. The literal meaning here seems not that which is seems is something that is not possible. Can anybody run as fast as the wind? Sorry. Can anybody run as fast as the wind? It looks like something so difficult or so hard, especially when you have, for example, storms. But such a figurative language, which is simile, is exceeding the literal meaning here and in order to indicate the speed, in order to indicate the speed of the woman who is running. Instead of saying that she ran quickly, which might be okay quickly. How many kilometers per hour? 5 kilometers per hour? 10, 6, 12, 20? Okay. But the narrator here is employing or using wind speed in order to indicate the speed, how speedy the lady was or the woman was while running. The most important thing about simile is using as or like. As or like, because whenever we're going to drop as or like, this will be a metaphor which will be something different we're going to discuss later. Now, I want you to have a look at the following, those four statements, sentences, and in the Zoom meeting, we're going to discuss. The writer in each sentence is assimilating what to what. For example, she was as light as a feather. For example, she was as light as a feather. In this example, the writer is assimilating a lady or a woman to the feather. But this is the literal meaning, but the hidden meaning or the deep meaning or the intended meaning is what? Okay, keep this in mind and we'll keep discussing those examples in the Zoom meeting. Now, I want you to pay attention to this. Which of the following is not an example of simile? Which of the following is not an example of a simile? He is as messy as a pig when he eats. He is as he is as messy as a pig when he eats. He eats like a pig. He eats like a pig. He is a pig. Now, we have three examples here, and I don't know, one, two, or the three of them are not similes. Okay, which one of them, or which two, or might be the three of them are not simile? Which one is not a simile, and why? This question will be answered during the Zoom meeting.